The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, everybody. This is Greg Rawl from Centrav. I'm Vice President of Business Development at Centrav, and we're going to have a Norwegian Air webinar today, so glad you could join us. We will record this broadcast, and because you're registered, you'll get a copy in your email sometime today or tomorrow. I want to make you aware that, as you probably already figured out, your phones are muted, so you can't ask questions that way. But there is a question panel on the taskbar, and as we continue with this webinar, if you have questions that weren't explained or subjects that weren't explained exactly how you want to fully understand it, fire off a question to us and we'll be glad to answer that at the end of the broadcast. So I'm going to bring on Gennady Grumman from Norwegian Air. Gennady, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Greg. Thank
All
you very
right.
much for having us today.
Great, and we'll just turn it over to you, so go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Greg, and thanks to our partners at Centrav for organizing this webinar today. We're very excited to have an opportunity in 2019 to tell you guys how we're doing and our plans and exciting new destinations with Norwegian Air. So my name is Gennady Grumman. I am the sales manager on the West Coast, based in Oakland, California, and handling the Centrav relationships. So definitely very excited to be here with you today. What I'll do now is, before we jump into my actual presentation, I'll just give you a quick overview of our website. We have some really great little tools on our website that are kind of handy for the travel agency community just to understand and get like really quick information. And then obviously we have a lot of benefits in booking in the GDS with your Centrav contract. So the first thing that you want to do with Norwegian.com is, when you get to our landing page, on the left side we have a bunch of menus and different sections that you can get to. So I wanted to kind of just give you a quick overview of how our website is set up. It's very, very, very user friendly. At the very bottom of our website, we have a media section. So obviously there's been a lot of news and a lot of social media and different articles coming out. So I think the main thing to remember is you want to make sure you get the facts first from the airline itself. Obviously we communicate everything to Centrav as well, but this will be a great first stop to get some, factual information. So if you click on that media section, it will eventually get you down to our press release section, and we have a lot of great articles here on some of our new route announcements. Like one of our latest ones was New York to Athens or Chicago to Barcelona, nonstop for the summer seasonal schedule, and even our financial performance and other exciting product enhancements are all mentioned here. And then one of the other things that I really like to show agents through our website is a unique interactive route map feature. So if we go back to the main site, again, in that menu section, we have a route map button. And when you click on that, it will open up this route map. What I have already done here is I kind of pre-populated it for you. So if you see on the upper left, I typed in JFK for the month of September, only direct flights. And what you're seeing here is all of our scheduled flights for the month of September nonstop, as the fare information displayed are one-way fares. So they seem really low and really exciting and really too good to be true. And I'll explain how this fare information is being pulled. But I think the main point of this route map is to really give you a sense of our schedule, and also really easy to understand all the nonstop routes, because remember, Norwegian Air does offer one-way pricing, which is really great. So you can really mix and match. You can have someone going into Spain, come back from Paris, or go into the UK, come back from Paris, and various things like that. But the other cool thing here, we have even a temperature control, so you can even check the temperature of the destination. So it's really neat. And again, you can play with the destinations with the months. And if you really wanted to understand what is that fare about, it's going to be the starting fare. And it is going to be a little bit different in the GDS fare. And that's kind of my last kind of overview of the website that I wanted to talk about. So here I have an example for August, the end of August, New York to London. So we actually have Norwegian Air flies 3 times a day. And that introductory fare that you see on the route map is actually pulling this low fare category, which some airlines probably in the industry call that as basic economy. So Norwegian Air does not distribute these low fare or similar basic economy type products in the GDS environment. So this is only web fares only. So if somebody does call you, your clients, and they're saying, hey, I see low fare out there, this is the reason why, because they're not reading the fine print, they're really understanding our products. So the low fare product only exists on our website, and it does not include any baggage allowance. It does not include any meals. It does not include any seat assignment privileges. So it's just really the transportation from A to B in the economy cabin. If you really wanted to buy something on our website as a bundle or as kind of an all-inclusive package, you go to the next category. But just to remind you guys that in the GDS and with the Centrav contract, there is a huge benefit, because even on our own website, when we sell directly to the consumer, there's only one baggage that is allowed in this low fare category bundled offer. When you book through the Centrav GDS contract, you're getting 2 bags allowance, the meal and the seat. So I think that's kind of the apples to apples comparison that I wanted to do as kind of introduction to make sure that we're all up to speed in how the pricing works. Obviously, there is a bit of a pricing advantage if you are a consumer or a young person traveling with a backpack and you don't care about these things. But I think when people travel to Europe, typically they expect, you know, baggage allowance and meal and things like that to really be comfortable on their journey. So great website, really good information for news, really good information for routes. So please do take a look when you have a chance. And if you do have questions throughout my presentation, please drop it in, as Greg mentioned, in the chat window, and we'll get to that at the end. So now I'll just turn over to my presentation, and we'll go through kind of the high-level overview of some of our products and services. Again, my name is Gennady Grumin. My email is on the front page in case you ever needed to get in touch with me. If you have a problem with the PNR or a question, feel free anytime. We are working with Centrav, you know, around the world. So if there's any kind of issue with a passenger overseas or a ticket problem from another destination, please let us know.
Gennady, if I can just interject one thing. There was a little confusion already coming in from the agents because they don't have a GDS and we don't offer them GDS connection. So I think that word is confusing them. Just clarification, everybody. Don't worry about a GDS. What he really means is just book on Centrav.com to get those fares. You won't need a GDS or GDS connection. Just go right on Centrav.com, log in, and you can book there. And then I'll jump back out. Thanks, Gennady.
Yeah, exactly. So Centrav has a travel agency portal, which basically in the back end has the GDS fares that we provide. And only these GDS fares provide these 2 extra baggage of allowance. So for you, the agents that work with Centrav, continue doing what you do every day. Use this Centrav portal or booking platform, and you will benefit and have the great access to these amenities, kind of these all-inclusive agency bundles with the 2 bags, the meal, and the seat assignment capability if you book through them. And that's really the benefit that we were talking about. So it's really great. What I want to do quickly here is just going to cover a few FAQs that come up from time to time when I'm doing these presentations. We're going to start counterclockwise on the lower right. For maybe some of you are new to Norwegian Air, or maybe when you do propose Norwegian Air, some of your clients are maybe a little bit hesitant. So one of the biggest questions I ask is that, are we related or associated with Norwegian Cruises? And the answer is no. But obviously, Norwegian Cruise Lines is a very strong brand in the United States. So I think it's natural people make that confusion or comparison. We are relatively new in the United States, about 5-6 years old in terms of flying our long-haul operation. And yeah, we're a totally independent company. We have no affiliations with them. Moving up on the upper right-hand corner, does Norwegian Air belong to any alliance organization or partners? At the moment, no, we do not have any alliance with a standard traditional alliance, but we are working on improving this area in terms of getting some partners for some feeder traffic. And what do I mean by that is, today, if somebody is in Phoenix, Arizona, and they want to catch a flight from Los Angeles to London, for example, there is no interline capability or code share or any way in order to get that passenger on a Southwest flight or any other flight, and especially their baggage, to connect to us in Los Angeles. So in that scenario, the person has to have 2 separate tickets, which is not probably the most customer service friendly way of doing it. So we really focus on promoting our gateway cities, our nonstop routes. So those customers in the interior markets will be a little bit of a disadvantage unless the fare is so attractive and you can really plan their trip with enough time in between. We just need to make sure that you understand on the agency side that it's really 2 separate travel documents, 2 tickets, and there are risks involved if there's delays and things like that. But the point of the matter is, we are working on introducing some interline and connectivity with kind of smaller regional airlines, and that probably won't happen until the end of the year or early in 2020. So when we finish those IT technology projects, we will communicate that to Centrav and we will let everybody know. So for now, we just ask for your patience and to continue promoting and selling the non-stop routes from those major markets that we do fly from. Moving on to the upper left-hand corner, Norwegian Air. Yes, our name is Norwegian, so it's associated with Norway, but we are not affiliated or owned by the government of Norway. We are an independent company. We are traded on a stock exchange, actually, in Norway, in Oslo, and our CEO, which is mentioned here, Bjorn Kos, is actually the majority owner in terms of the equity. So unlike SAS, our kind of peer airline in the Scandinavian markets, they are owned by the government. In fact, they're owned by 3 major governments, so it's a little different model where we are a private enterprise. And even though we have the Norwegian name, we are now, as you can see from our operation, and I'll get to our route map in a few minutes on the international side, we are becoming more and more of an international European airline, maybe less focused only on the Scandinavian markets. So meaning we don't really need to fly people over Oslo to get to their final destination. We have a lot more non-stop variety in our network. And finally, on the lower left, the topic that comes up recently quite a lot is our operational kind of integrity and our financial status. So like I mentioned, on our website, you have all of those great resources to read about our articles and about our news and press releases. But just to quickly spend another minute or so to cover these concerns, Norwegian Air is operating as business as usual. Everything is fine. Last year, there were some speculative moves in the marketplace, and there were some interested parties out there, but nothing really, went forward. And we unfortunately incurred some financial challenges, primarily due to an event regarding the engines on our aircraft. And we were not the only airline affected. There were some other airlines in the world that were also affected. So these things do happen in the industry, and we hope you can understand that and help us articulate that to the customers and the passengers. So last summer was quite challenging for us. Also, oil prices went up last year. So basically, a lot of these unexpected events resulted in more cost and more expense. So we needed to find some solution to really, improve our financial position. I think we have done that over the last 3 to 4 months. We have raised $300 million on the financial markets. We've taken some of our older aircraft, as you see here in the second bullet point, and we sold those aircraft. So now, meaning the remaining aircraft that we have are even younger than they were, which is a great proposition to a customer from a kind of a customer experience point of view. We have some future aircraft that we're expected to receive from the aircraft companies that we have told them, hey, we want to delay those deliveries. That reserves some cash and improves our financial status. And also, we're focusing on-time performance. That's what OTP stands for, and really optimizing where our crews, our flight attendants, and our pilots fly. So all in all, 2019 is a very important year for us, and we're very focused on providing a reliable operation and providing consistent service across the board in all our markets. So just that should give you a little bit of confidence. And again, if there's any concern, please feel free to reach out to me or to Greg, and whatever we can do to help you understand, or if your client has a problem, we can provide any other documentation that would make everybody feel comfortable. Speaking of our product and our services, kind of moving forward past the engine issue, we are still very much proud to be the Boeing 787 Dreamliner operator for our operation long haul and international flights. So the Dreamliner actually exclusively makes up our long haul fleet. So right now we have kind of like 36, 37 aircraft. We're going to have close to 40 aircraft at the end of the year. So we are only flying the Dreamliner on these long haul missions, from places like London to Los Angeles. We even fly to South America. We just announced London to Rio de Janeiro. We have been already flying for the last year, London to Buenos Aires. We fly to Asia from the Scandinavian markets to Bangkok. And this winter, we're even flying to Krabi, Thailand. So what I'm trying to show you here is that the aircraft has a lot of versatility. It can do the shorter flights. It can do the really long flights, and it has really good economics. So for an airline like us, we love that because we can fly the airplane many places with really good efficiency. From a customer standpoint, customers love this aircraft because it's a really comfortable aircraft, really good onboard experience, really comfortable air circulation and pressurization systems, larger windows. So I think all in all the feedback that we're getting, it's really positive, and we will continue to, really focus on operating an efficient airline with these Dreamliners that we love. One quick caveat about the improved onboard experience: we will be introducing Wi-Fi later this year. So we are in the process of installing that, and if you do go back to those news articles on our website, you will find an article with regards to that project. And really exciting to share with you is the basic offer on the Wi-Fi will be free. So in fact, we will be the only airline in the world to offer a basic package of internet, Wi-Fi, satellite Wi-Fi, for free on an international long-haul service. So there are going to be other packages available, of course, for faster speeds, but I think it's a really good start. For the purposes of this presentation and Centrav, and we want to really focus on some of the key selling points we want to do with you this year, is our premium offer. So Norwegian Air does not have a business class. Norwegian Air does not have the true flatbed business class experience. So we want to make sure we understand that. We have a premium cabin. We call it premium as our marketing terminology. But obviously this is probably fair to compare to other airlines' premium economy. So I think it's really popular product these days for customers traveling to Europe. With us, because of our one-way pricing structure, you get this really great product. So if the client doesn't have the budget to travel a round trip, you can really, again, mix and match, and you can do the one-way, in premium going, and you can do the economy coming back, because going to Europe, you're flying overnight and you want to feel a little bit more comfortable. But again, just to set expectations, this is not a business class product. You can see the recline information here. There is a lot of personal space. There is an in-flight entertainment screen. In economy class, we also have an entertainment screen. So everybody has access to free movies, audio, video, and just more of a real estate or more of a personal space is what you're getting here in the premium cabin on the 787 Dreamliner. This is another perspective to look at the seat. So there is a footrest that extends. There is the in-flight entertainment screen that is built into the seat. And we have the power ports as well. And great thing about the Dreamliner 787, if you haven't been on it recently, is there's this feature, if you can see under the window, there's a little button there. So that is actually a dimming feature, which allows the customer sitting there to dim the window, but still have the ability to look outside. So there's no more of that shade, the window blind. So it's a really great new enhancement that we have on our Dreamliners. One of the great things about booking the premium cabin, what I would call the legacy GDS system or through the Centrav booking engine platform, is your ability to have the option to kind of select the different product types. So we actually have non-refundable product, which is the I class. And then we have the fully refundable product, which is the D and the C, so the Delta and the Charlie. So if you do book the Delta or the Charlie, one of the benefits is that now in 2019, we have changed the kind of the policy a little bit. That will be the product where you will have this all-inclusive offer in premium with lounge access. So Norwegian Air does not practice the model where we have our own branded lounges. So we kind of work with different lounge companies around the world. But basically, if your client is booked in the D or C fare category, they show up at the airport, they will be printed a secondary document. It's a lounge invitation card. And for that fare class, they will be eligible to use that facility. If somebody shows up in the airport and they have an I-class ticket or I-class category, they will enjoy the onboard amenities, but they will not have access to enter the lounge if there is a lounge at that airport. So that is the main difference. We just kind of analyzed the difference in our cost, and I think we feel some of the business travelers or people going for a shorter trip, and or people maybe they really need that lounge, they will be willing to pay the small difference. So it's really depending on the client. So we wanted to make sure we kind of highlight the differences here today, but on board it's kind of the same consistent experience. Speaking on the configuration of our premium cabin, so the premium cabin, it's a 2-3-2 configuration, and we do have different layouts on different 787 aircraft in our fleet. So for example, I showed you some previous schedules on our website for New York, London. So we have 3 flights a day. So we actually, on that service, we fly the larger layout configuration, the 787-900 with 56 seats in the premium cabin, because we feel there's enough demand for leisure customers going on vacation to the UK Also, we are seeing a trend now in some business travelers that, you know, they want to have some value, and maybe our offer on the one-way pricing or the flexibility of our pricing and the refundability is much more attractive than maybe buying a ticket on the legacy airline, and they're still getting really good, you know, service and really great schedules. When you do book the premium service, you do get a kind of a enhanced meal. If you have special meal requirements, of course, you can request those as well, but the meals are included. In the economy cabin, booking with Norwegian Air, you do get the bundle. So you get the 2 bags compared to the website, as I mentioned earlier. You get the seat assignment and the meal. But the main difference here is that in the premium section, the meal is a little bit more enhanced, a little bit better. But definitely everything that you book through Centrav, everything that you're booking through this portal, through the GDS, it's all the same thing. You're getting an all-inclusive offer. We're not going to be asking you to pay for something. Everything is included. And the best way to do that, after everything is issued, all the tickets are done, what I would recommend is take the PNR from the ticket, go to Norwegian.com, and you can actually download a Norwegian travel document. So that travel document will not have any pricing or fare information, but it will have the list of all of the services that are included. So it will say the person has 2 bags. It will say the person has the hot meal or the seat assignment. And that is your verification that everything is covered. And that's another nice way. You can also share that with the customer if they're very, very nervous or they're asking more questions. So once again, for the lounge access, we have these different lounges around the world, as you can see. Specifically, some of these lounges, like we are probably familiar in the industry with Priority Pass or American Express. So there are all types of lounges out there. So we happen to work with some of these lounges, and we have a relationship with them. So if somebody shows up at the airport and they have the D&C ticket, that is how they will get access to these lounges. So just make sure you understand your client's requirements, and this is a great benefit. Once again, not every airport will have a lounge. So if you don't see it here, or if you have a question about a particular airport that we fly to, let me know. And I can check that for you kind of offline separately. The other main thing to consider is the benefits of booking the PremiumFlex or the fully refundable D and C class for the premium ticket is the ability that it gives the traveler on making all of these changes, right? If we're booking them in the I-class compartment, there are going to be some additional fees that might have to be collected. So if you know your client and you've dealt with them in the years prior, and they, bother you and they call you back and they were like, I need to change this, I need to change that, I need to change this. So it's really giving you a lot of more work and a lot of more transactions and fees. And when we add it all up, maybe it doesn't make sense. So what I'm trying to show here, the illustration here, is really to show the benefits of both. If somebody's locked in and they want to save some money, of course, I-class is going to be a little bit of attractive pricing. If they need the flexibility, you can recommend this option to them. And of course, you can go outbound in D-class, you can come back in I-class, you can go outbound in D, come back in economy. It doesn't matter how you do it. And the other great benefit of us working with Centrav and the way we load our contracts, our discounts or our net pricing is not only originating in the United States. So that means if you have a client already, somehow they got to Europe and they need to get back to the United States in a hurry, a family emergency, or they used to get back on another airline, plans change. The beauty of our pricing, it's bi-directional. So if you do price Norwegian Air from Europe coming back to North America, the discounted pricing or the bulk ticketing net fare pricing is available in both directions. And the other greatest thing with us is you are allowed to mark up the tickets with Norwegian Air, and there is no cap or restriction on how much you can mark up. So that's really great. I think some airlines have some certain guidelines or restrictions. I think we're really open on that. One of the other things I wanted to mention is the booking codes or the 2-letter airline codes that we have. So maybe you're familiar with like LATAM or Avianca. Some other airlines practice this too. So we needed to do this because we needed to register the airline in different geographies to get the traffic rights, so the permission to fly to those airports actually. So when you do search for flights into the UK, you can put in a code, or you can just search general availability and then we should come up. Or you can put in DI, because now DI is all flights to and from the UK on the long haul flights like New York, London, Los Angeles, London, Fort Lauderdale, London. If you by chance search by code and you put in DY, you will not get any results. So that has to be properly programmed in the Centrav program, which I think it is. But if you see any discrepancies, let Greg or myself know. because we want to make sure that you are seeing the correct availability in either direction, from Europe to America or from America to Europe or anywhere else you fly. And the very last bullet point on the airline codes is the DN. So Norwegian Air did start an operation in Argentina. So we are flying domestic flights in Argentina now. It's a separate code, and you do also have access to net fares with that operation as well. So this is really great. So we are kind of covering different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and different geographies, and we will continue to do that. So kind of watch our press news section, because we will be having, you know, other exciting announcements in Argentina later this year. Again, we don't call it premium economy, but if we do have a comparison, and I think it's always nice to do a comparison because customers like to compare pricing, compare products. When we go to a restaurant, we like to compare the different menus. Norwegian Air, with our product in premium, probably has a superior offer in terms of the seat. So if you look at here on this table, we do have a better seat configuration or dimension. We do not offer an amenity kit. I think maybe some airlines have an advantage with us on that. But you know, it's really, really nice kind of opportunity to present these facts and see if customers are willing to make the change if they're not very loyal. Obviously, we understand customer loyalty is very big in America. In Europe, I think it's a little bit less. So we just need you guys to be kind of our extended sales force to really help tell the story and show the benefits, and then, you know, we can see if customers try it and they really come back and they really love the product. The other thing we do offer in that premium offer is the fast track. So fast track is predominantly a concept that was introduced in Europe. Some of the airports actually have a separate dedicated lane for fast track customers, so they can really be economy class passengers traveling in Copenhagen, but they buy this kind of subscription, they buy the service, and they can use the fast track lane in Copenhagen, right? But the way we think about fast track in America, it has something to do with a premium product, typically, you know, part of a business class offering. So with our premium offer, if you do buy the higher bucket seats, higher category seats, fast track is included as a service if the airport has such a lane. So again, in the United States, it's not as widely, you know, practiced. So depending on the airport, and again, specific airports have different procedures and rules, you can let me know and we can double check. But one thing I want to mention here is we want to make sure we do not confuse this with TSA PreCheck. TSA PreCheck is a program in the United States that is 100% managed by the Department of Homeland Security and TSA, and has nothing to do with this. The airline has to be enrolled to be accepting TSA PreCheck passengers or customers. So the good news, Norwegian Air has been approved, and we are now a TSA PreCheck airline. And when you do make the reservation, you are now able to enter that global entry number, or KTN, known traveler number. And in that case, economy or premium ticketed passenger will now have access to the TSA PreCheck when they depart the United States. So that is not fast track, that is a separate category. Fast track is maybe somebody holding a foreign passport and they are in premium and they booked in Delta Charlie class, and they have this service and the airport has this lane. Perfect, they can go a little bit faster, but unfortunately they will have to remove their shoes and take off, you know, their computer and all of that stuff. So that's kind of the main difference on the security. In terms of pricing, we looked at New York, London. We have a really good, robust schedule. We are very competitive on the business market and like people that need to get to Europe. We have that daytime departure. We have 2 evening departures. Our pricing offer in the premium cabin is really, really attractive. It's very competitive to the other airlines. Just remember, we do fly to London Gatwick, not Heathrow. Gatwick is a really great airport. We have a big operation in Gatwick, and it's really easy to connect into downtown London via the Gatwick Express train to Victoria Station. Some of the routes that we've added, like I mentioned in the beginning on the news press release section, is New York, Athens, and Chicago, Barcelona. But basically, when you look at this slide, I think it's very helpful to understand all of our non-stop flights. We do not operate, you know, very similarly like a Air France or a Lufthansa, where they have, flights that come into one major city like a hub, and then you need to connect to the other points. We have a lot of non-stop service. You have to really understand our schedule. You'll have to take a few minutes to understand our route network, because maybe we won't have a service every day of the week. But the beauty is, if your clients are flexible and you can go Los Angeles to Barcelona and they're traveling in Europe and they end up in, they end up in Copenhagen. Now they can come home, Copenhagen nonstop to Los Angeles, or they need to come back to New York. So they can do those kind of nonstops because everything is one-way based pricing, segment-based pricing. So it's really, really easy for you to offer them. And sometimes I have clients, agents and tour operators and everybody that love it so much, they just book their clients a one-way. And whenever they're ready, they call them back and they book a return. So then they don't have to get into the habit of doing change fees and this and that, and just a separate transaction. Because remember, that net fare with Centrav, it's available coming back. So you have a lot of flexibility with the Norwegian fares and contract booking through Centrav. So I think that there's a lot of options here. One other thing that one small little reminder that I want to mention, besides the day of week scheduled departures, we do have some markets that are seasonal, which means they do not operate in the winter. Winter is usually slower travel season for some of our popular Scandinavian markets and other places. So certain places might not operate, so you can check our schedules on our website, or you can let me know and I can verify anything for you. Okay, and then we have the main thing, with all of this bad media and social media coverage and articles last year that we kind of passing now and really addressing the issues and spending time with you today on this webinar, is to really focus on the positive and what we are doing well. And we've been established in Europe for many, many years, probably more than 15, 20 years. So we have a really good reputation in Europe. We are much smaller here in the United States. So we do ask for your help to really help promote the airline, talk about some of our awards, talk about some of our great service, because this is our mission, is to provide great value. Even though the fares might be low and attractive, it doesn't mean that you're getting kind of a crappy, cheap service. You're getting a really high quality service at a really good, international kind of standards. We have international crews. We have people from America that we hire, flight attendants and pilots. We have people from France, from Spain, from Italy, and with the Wi-Fi coming. So I think it's a really great, exciting opportunity for people to go to Europe, where maybe 5, 10 years ago it was really expensive to travel kind of spontaneously to Europe. So that is the presentation. I'm going to pass the phone back to Greg for any comments or anything that I missed. And I really hope you enjoyed it, and we really appreciate all your business and support.
Okay, thank you, Gennady. Great presentation. So I think people are excited about it. We are, just to remind everybody, we are recording this, so we will send you out a copy of this sometime this afternoon or tomorrow. You'll get a copy of that. And I think there's a lot of questions that did roll in, so maybe, Gennady, when you get a chance, you can get over to your panel
Sure.
there and take a look at the questions and go through those. If you're registered with Centrav, you're good to book. So you get the bundled deal, as you said, when you book your Norwegian Air on Centrav.com, and you have access to all of our tools to send out your quotes and all that kind of thing too. And are you ready to go, Gennady?
Yep, I'm ready. So yeah, I'm going to go through some of these questions. I think you answered some of them, so I'm going to go through another one. So yeah, clients currently book on Norwegian through Centrav. Is there any worry regarding the recent negative social media financial reports? So yeah, so I already addressed that. So we have raised money for the financial markets, and we have improved all our obligations. We are continuing to run our smooth operation, so everything's business as usual. I have somebody mentioned here, somebody's traveling in the summer. So again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Greg or to myself, and if we need to do anything at the airport for them or make sure, absolutely, we can help you out. Will you be flying out from Stewart to Ireland? Yes, we are operating between Stewart and Dublin, so we do have 2 daily flights in the summer. The great thing about that service of Stewart Airport, for those who don't know, is upstate New York. It's about 1 hour and 20 minutes north of Manhattan. There is actually a bus service that is aligned with our flight schedule, so it's really convenient to fly between Stewart Airport, which is SWF, and Dublin, Ireland. And remember, on the way back, everybody flying back from Ireland to the United States, they go through the United States border control pre-clearance. So they actually pass US passport control in Ireland. So they arrive into the United States, into Stewart, as a domestic customer. So it's a really great service, and really people really love it. So yes, I have another question from Mark here about other airlines. So yeah, we do not partner with other airlines, so you cannot combine itineraries with other airlines. So if you do sell Norwegian, you have to sell it kind of separately. So if somebody's going to another destination, unfortunately, we cannot connect with them. That's an IT problem or a limitation. So we are working on that. So we will, hopefully later this year, address kind of connections and feeder traffic. So yeah, another question about our premium class service. We do not have flat beds. We do not anticipate to introduce any live flat beds. We are focused on having kind of this premium economy experience. And any feedback about our product or service, please continue to kind of feedback to myself or to Greg, and we can send it over to our head office in Norway. But I think by the most part, people like the value. We even have an option where people can bid if they, book an economy class ticket. There are sometimes like an auction bid on the certain days of the week when it's less busy, maybe like on a Tuesday, Wednesday in the fall period. So we have other ways to promote it. I think the fair information on the premium class is really attractive. So I think it just depends on the clientele. I have a client that's traveling to find direction, return, Centrav, so can book it one way. So yeah, Greg already addressed that. Yeah, so you should be allowed to book one ways or kind of multi-segment. So we can check into that. So very good question. I have a question from Scott. So in the Bay Area, we do fly from Oakland Airport. We are making a small change that we're going to be shifting our Oakland to London service to San Francisco, starting for the summer schedule, so the last week of March. So we feel by flying San Francisco to London, we can capture some more of that peninsula traffic from Silicon Valley and San Jose. And as we all know, there's a lot of like those technology companies like Facebook and Google and Uber. And we will continue flying out of Oakland to Paris, to Barcelona, to Scandinavia, to Rome in the summer. So nothing's changing there. And then I have, is the premium cabin separate from the economy set? And yes, it is. So the premium cabin is a separate cabin. It's completely closed off. That's a great question. And it's a separate crew that provide the service. And of course, economy passengers cannot go into the premium cabin. So it's not like the economy plus on some airlines where it's just the first few rows. This is a separate cabin completely with a separate bathroom, laboratory, and a separate, in-flight experience. Are there power ports in economy? That's a great question. So we do have each in-flight entertainment screen has a USB connection, so you can actually charge your iPhone or your devices that way. Will you consider day flights to Europe from Boston or Providence? At this moment, we're not looking at that, Nancy. Thanks for the question. Let's see. If I book premium class from Centrav, if it's go to Deer Lounge Club? Yeah, so exactly. So if you book D or C, yes, you get access to the lounge. So that's from Kristen. So absolutely. So if you need a lounge access or your client does have that requirement, I would recommend to book the Delta or the Charlie class. So that's a great question. 1 second. So for premium, we have D, C, and I class is the non-refundable. If you want all of the services, the fast track, the lounge, I would recommend the D and the C. Are there any commissionable rates loaded? I think you already answered that. In Centrav, do we search under premium economy or business for Norwegian premium? So I think because I don't know how your platform works, but because our fares are filed in the D and C, you might have to search under the business kind of search bar, but I think Greg should be able to address that, right?
Yeah, that was confusing to me. I saw that one quick. I'm not actually sure what. I mean, if it's not a true business class, we do identify what the business class booking classes are, and that's what we pull. Is that cabin your business class cabin, or what do we?
Yeah. So in the GDS, it is coded as a business class. So
Okay.
So if you have that kind of pull down menu or that cabin, so I would recommend to answer Anjana's question, the search for business, but then you'll get this product. But make sure when you sell the product, you explain the kind of the bells and whistles and what we are, and make sure we don't oversell it and we don't tell people that it's a flatbed or something, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
And then we have, if we book Norwegian, do we have to put a service fee, correct? So yeah, so Norwegian Air, we have bulk ticketing. So that means if you want to mark up the ticket, you have the ability to mark up. And I believe Greg can address that and how you guys do that, but we don't have any issue if you mark up the tickets.
Yeah, you'll just add a markup to it, and it will show us one lump sum on the credit card. When you book it on Centrav.com, we've got a place for you to add a markup to it, so it won't be a service fee where your client sees it.
So we have another question for Las Vegas, from Irene. So yeah, we do not operate out of Las Vegas in the summertime, only in the winter schedule. So that's from October to March. How hard is it to get to Southampton from the cruise terminal from Gatwick? I personally don't know, but I know you can definitely get to Brighton from Gatwick because there are trains along that kind of Brighton Gatwick corridor. Is there cancellation technical issues since you have a question? Is your policy getting passengers so that's a great question from Helene. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. So we do not have interline agreements with other airlines at the moment. So what we do is we reprotect the passenger on Norwegian, or we will give a waiver code to Centrav, and Centrav can actually help you reissue that ticket on another Norwegian flight at no penalty if there's a problem with our flight. If there's a connecting flight and they're going somewhere else in Europe and we need to use another airline in Europe, unfortunately, because we don't have that interline technology yet to allow to connect with other airlines, we will, our support team will have to do that. So we will have a close contact with Greg and operations team, but whenever you have those issues, please let them know, and then we will work together to resolve that. Does Norwegian Air fly from Europe to India? No. Will TVs work better on planes coming out of Stewart? I'm not sure if I understand the question. At the moment, we'll have Wi-Fi on that aircraft, so that should be good for having entertainment there. Do you offer group packages? So in terms of group pricing, we do offer group pricing. So 10 or more constitutes a group, and groups also get 2 bags, meal, and a seat assignment in economy. We do not offer group pricing for the premium cabins, so those you have to issue as individual tickets. So if you are interested in groups, please contact me or contact Greg, and we can talk offline on the procedure on groups, because I think we can definitely work together on increasing group business together. What is Centrav's role in this? Do you pay commission? So we provide net fares. If Greg, you want to address that?
Yeah, they provide us with net fares. So you book on Centrav.com. It will show you what your cost is for that fare. You will go ahead and add your markup at the end of the transaction, make whatever you want on the deal, and then we'll charge the credit card and send you a commission check within 2 weeks of purchase.
So I have a question from, we'll send out the email with a PDF. Yeah, we'll do that. We have a question here about Austin, Texas. So at the moment, we only fly from Austin, Texas to London. So at the moment, we do not have any plans to add other destinations from Austin, Texas. Will Norwegian Air ever be in WorldSpan? Unfortunately, at this time, we cannot answer when or how that will happen. We are focused only on Sabre, Amadeus, and Galileo, so we do not participate in Apollo or WorldSpan. So we have, let's see, so currently one client say they've seen a low price. There's going to be, yeah, so yeah, that's right. So from Catherine, the question, yeah, so if a customer sees a low price, that low fare product is on our website and they're not getting anything. It's basically a basic fare. You're right. So if you want to provide them the benefits of all of the amenities, plus you having the net fare, which basically means it's a small discount, there is an advantage to book through Centrav, to book through you. And the customer will also have access to sales support and little things that I can do where if they book through the website, they're kind of on their own. So I want to make sure that you understand that. I missed the first minutes. Is the bundle package on the lowest fare? Oh, no. So the bundle package is only available on lowest fare plus or low fare plus, but low fare plus on our website is only 1 bag. The benefit of booking through Centrav or through your platform is you get 2 bags in economy. Which fare we can add commission to, publish or consolidated fare? So net fares are the private fares, so you can add a markup to the net fare. And I think Greg can address how to do that, but that's the way it works, not to the published fare, never to the published fare.
Right. And if you do buy a published fare on Centrav.com, there will be an opportunity for you to add a service fee, which will show as a separate charge on their credit card statement. So always a better deal. Sometimes the published fare is low, but if you can buy the net fare, then you're adding to the price of the ticket, and it shows as one lump sum on their credit card statement, so they don't know what you're making.
Perfect. Can we sell extras through the GDS? At the moment, we do not have the capability to do like merchandising or adding extra kind of services, but we are working on that. So those additional fees will have to be collected at the airport. So how do we? So yeah, you can use Centrav's system to check our schedule. You might have to just kind of search +1, -1, play with the dates. Obviously, using our website might be a little bit faster, so you can quickly see like the monthly calendar because it's like a graphical interface. But it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is we want you to book through Centrav because you're getting the additional benefits on our fares. will ever beat WorldSpan, so we're not going to be worse. Are there AD75 offers? Unfortunately, this time we do not have that. Do we have flights to the French Caribbean? We do operate to the French Caribbean, but I believe we're going to be stopping that service in the winter schedule 2019. So for the rest of the year, we are flying, but not for the next year. I think we're going to stop that. Will you add flights from Minneapolis to Europe? At the moment, we are not thinking of Minneapolis, but you never know. I think basically the way we look at adding destinations is, the opportunity and, what is the average price. So if there's an opportunity to compete and be successful, we don't want to just go in markets and lose money and then, have to exit the market. So I think we're very excited to add new service, but we have to be very careful, especially with all of the changes happening in the airline industry. Is alcohol included in the premium cabin? Yes, it is. So the bidding option, so basically when you book, depending on the flight, that might be an invitation you might get an invitation from Norwegian.com after the ticket is booked, but that's only if you book an economy and that flight maybe on a Tuesday or Wednesday is not busy in premium and they might invite you to bid. So there's no way you can actually request it. It's all automated. So we kind of selectively choose specific flights we need help with. Is there any standby aircraft in case of a mechanical issue on the West Coast? From John, we do not have standby aircraft. I mean, it's not fair to compare us to an American Airlines or a United Airlines, 800 aircraft airline. So we are smaller. So working with smaller airlines, you need to understand kind of the scope of our operation. But like I said, we are kind of optimizing our schedule so that if somebody's flying from Los Angeles to London and there's a delay or a mechanical and we have a Los Angeles to Paris, and we have seats available on that flight, we will reprotect those passengers on the Paris flight and figure out the downline connections and refund whatever we need to refund. So we do have measures in place, but we do have to use our existing network to reprotect these customers. Will the Wi-Fi packages be offered on the international flights? Yes, the Wi-Fi packages will be offered on the long-haul flights starting this year as the aircraft get, kind of retrofitted. Let's see. So we don't have a section on the booking classes, so I can see if I can find a document. So maybe you can email Greg and he could remind me and I can get back to you. That's a question for Cynthia. Will Atlanta ever be a hub? We don't have any plans as of right now for Atlanta. There are rumors, one flight of Dublin, Stewart to Dublin. At the moment, I cannot comment on that, Colleen. So we are fully focused on Stewart at the moment. No agent discounts, Peter. How far in advance can you book your group? So as long as our schedule is available, Nancy, we absolutely can book groups as far as our schedule allows. What I would recommend is when you do have any group business, that you give us, kind of your requirements, your flexibility, and then we can explain how to submit the request. Is the markup shown on my client's credit card? From Michelle. Do you want to cover that, Greg?
No, if you're booking the net fare, remember if it's just a net or a consolidator fare, on the website it actually is labeled as a consolidator fare. When you see that, you're good to go. You can mark up whatever you want. It won't show on the client's credit card statement. If you book a published fare, then you can add a service fee and that will show on the statement. And as you're making the purchase on Centrav.com, as you go through the process of actually purchasing and putting the credit card info in there, it's going to tell you this and remind you, so you don't have to memorize it. It's going to tell you where that's going to show up as you make the purchase.
So I have a person here interested in doing a group. How do I get in contact with you? From Jeff. So I have my email address here, or you can email Greg. Email both of us. Show us the example of what you're working on, and we can guide you in how to do the group request.
So for the groups at Centrav, there is a request tab on our website for group requests. Just go ahead and use that and send it right to our groups department. It'll be the fastest way to work with if you want to work with us on that one.
Perfect. How could you please post your contact information again? I just did that, Linda. Thank you for clarification. What is the number of sales support? Okay, perfect. So I'll just quickly show you guys this document I have here. So if you guys look at here, there's the 800 number. Can everybody see that? That's our support desk for any things with existing PNRs. Okay, let's see if there are more questions. So we have, do you ensure the client is getting 2 bags versus 1? Okay, this is a great question from Engine. So after you book the ticket through Centrav, you have the PNR, you go to Norwegian.com. I can quickly show you where. You go to Norwegian.com. Does everybody see my screen? Yeah. You go to My Travels. You put in the PNR here, you put in the last name of the person here, and you will be able to download a travel document from Norwegian. That document will not have any pricing information, but it will show you that you have 2 bags. It will show you that you have a hot meal. It will show you that you have a seat assignment. So just another backup document to verify what you have booked through Centrav. So everything will be covered. Is there any Wi-Fi on flights now? So we have a few aircraft with Wi-Fi, but not all of them are deployed yet. When bags are misplaced, do you use load on aircraft to scanning or manual? Yeah, we use scanning. So we definitely scan bags of the aircraft. There's a last question here, Greg, from Zaina. Sometimes I see a consolidator fare, and sometimes just published.
So would there be routes where the consolidator fare is not loaded, Gennady, or?
No, they should be loaded everywhere. So if Zaina, if you want to send an email to Greg or to anybody from the Centrav team, we can investigate that. But basically, all our fares to Centrav should have the net fare consolidator discount in there.
Right. So definitely send that off to me, Xenia, Greg, GREG at Centrav.com. I definitely want to see that. Thank you.
Yep. So I think that's pretty much it, right? I think we covered a lot of these questions. And again, if you have any more questions, you can get in touch with Greg or myself.
Right.
We really thank your participation today. I think we had a very good group and really good interest. We appreciate your business, and we hope 2019 will be very good for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Great. And thank you, Gennady, for this presentation. Very, very informative. So questions will come up in your mind as you go forward. Best way to, if you want to reach Centrav, best way to get to us would be through live chat on our website. Those guys will have the information for you. I would probably have to just go up there to them and get it anyway, so you can go direct to them for the info. Otherwise, we'll close off the session and send you an email with a recorded copy of this. Thanks so much, Gennady. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Greg.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.